All right, sweetheart, you ready to go live?
Mike, you weren't here. Yes, it was very fun. I hope you saw it in the after.
Yes.
Yeah, ready to go live.
And 3. Hey, Joshua. 3 and 2 and 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sigler in Place. Let's see. We're a little bit bummed out, stressed out, and angry about the war and the reception some of our countrymen are having to all the crazy shit that's going on. But it's a non-political show, and we're going to do our best to rally and give you guys a fun hour because we're here to entertain.
It's true.
It's true.
And we're wearing our Mardi Gras beads.
And we're in Mardi Gras beads. If I get enough, show me your Hooters in the chat room. I will show my Hooters. He's not showing her because it's Mardi Gras. Show us your Hoots. It is National Read Across America Day. We'll talk about that in 1 second. We have a brand new book release out called AVP Ultimate Prey. We'll talk about that too. A new character voice button contest. It's going to be great. Junkie picks, pup dates, GFL 7 update.
Okay.
Has GFL 7 been degirthified?
We'll find out.
We'll find out. And the super weapon mission, of course, and our new email thing, and a bit of a vendor faux pas. And if we have time, we will go to questions. Get your camera up there, baby. And baby, tell them all about this right here.
What is this right here? Oh, that right there. I was looking at you when you said that. That's why I didn't know. So as you guys know, we say it all the time. We were just talking about our friend Steve, who is in the chat room. Every first Saturday of the month during the pandemic, it was his idea. He hosts it. It is a happy hour. It takes place from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific time. There's an invite or an event in Facebook you can join. If you just follow that bit.ly link, you can sign up for all. They're always the first Saturday of the month. They're always from 4 to 11. You can come and go as you please. I love them. I come and go as I please. This Saturday, I'm actually celebrating another friend of mine who's having a birthday, so I'm not sure that I'm going to be back in time, but I might. I'm going to try, and maybe before we leave.
You're saying is, I wanted to go to Bed Bath & Beyond, but I'm not sure there's enough time. From old school?
Yeah.
Yeah. A doesn't have the categorical Will Ferrell knowledge gene, but we all have our thing.
I don't speak in movie quotes in just generally speaking, and he either writes unique content or speaks in movie quotes.
Nico, I don't think there'll be enough time.
Here we go again.
Love that movie. So mad they never made a sequel to it. It is not correct. The Godfather should have
You're my boy, Blue. That's the only one I remember from that movie.
You're crazy. I like you, but you're
crazy.
You're crazy. We've got a tweet of the week. This one is pretty fun. The tweet of the week starts out without one of my tweets or not anything directed at me, but here we go. Here we got from Jewel State, who I'm not familiar with. She got a blue check.
You're not familiar with?
No. Who's Jewel State?
I don't know.
Not
She
the
might
Jewel
have been
singer?
on Firefly.
What part did she play?
Kaylee.
Oh.
Kylie. I can't remember. Now I'm sassing him and I don't know how to say her name.
There you go.
The cute redhead.
The cute red. Was she the karate chick?
In the overalls.
Oh, she's awesome. Yeah. Also,
I don't know who Jewel State is, but she has a blue check mark.
I tend to dig super cute redheads. I've got a type, so now I know who she is. But she posts this tweet, FYI for your Monday, characters don't get killed off shows to enrage the fans. Lots of private things going on behind the scenes, lots of different reasons, and none of them are your business. It's always hard. Remember that next time you want to bring it up. And then some smartass says, 100% true, characters are not killed off shows to enrage the fans. That's what books are for, right, Scott Sigler? Thank you, Luna. And also, I would again like to point out, I think Firefly, actually, we do have one thing in common. If you're posting all these memes about people like, oh my God, she's so savage, she kills all her characters, and then they all come back, that's not actually killing your characters.
Exactly.
Siglerism, dead equals dead, and I believe Firefly. I don't think they brought any back from the dead, but I don't know.
I mean, they brought the whole show back, so there's that. They did the movie.
Yes, so there is our tweet. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, coming up not this Saturday, but the next Saturday, second Saturday, Story Smack, talk about Batman Begins. I will give you guys a heads up. I'm not crazy about this movie. I have many reasons for not liking this movie, and I will talk all about them when we do the show.
So, as you guys know, Rob Otto, who is in the chat room on Facebook, if you would like to say hello, he and I joined Scott on the second Saturday of every month at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. This one is on March 12th. It's not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday after. We are going to talk about Batman Begins because I think tomorrow, what's the new one called?
The Batman.
The Batman comes out. So we were and I saw some things. The premiere was last night for The Batman. And, obviously that's an invite-only crowd. But the people who I sort of follow on social media who went were pretty pleased with it. So.
Good. Very good.
Yeah.
I did call. As soon as they announced Robert Pattinson.
I know who you're talking about.
Rob, you
Yeah,
know, the
Rob.
Twilight kid. As soon as they announced Mr. Sparkles as the Batman, it got a lot of crap, and I was like, I felt very strong that Home Slice was going to get into the gym, get all ripped up, and come in and just kill that role. So I would like to see it. See if he absolutely kills that role, because people forget. They do this thing called acting.
Yeah, and there's a
Acting.
hashtag in social media called that's the Battinson. So maybe that. Who knows?
Okay.
All right, let's see where we
Let's
are.
get back to
now.
Maine. We're going through, or ripping through our. Let's talk, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about my cousin's band, who I direct videos for, and sometimes I get confused and think
You
I'm
sure
in the
do.
band, but I'm band adjacent. That's just the way it goes.
Band adjacent.
It is. Oh my God, this is insane, ladies and gentlemen. The band Super Weapon, barely a nascent, a beginning, a larval band, barely out of the shell, if you will. They are nominated for the San Diego Music Awards for 2022 for the Best Rock Song. You can go to that URL at the bottom. You can vote every day up through March 15th if you so choose, if you got that kind of time.
As somebody did email in that you can also, as long as you use different browsers and email addresses, vote more than once a day.
Well,
but I'm not advocating that because that's cheating.
I don't have anything to say about that. And slot number 16, Super Weapon, Battle Cry. Evan Diamond is also another Best Pop Artist. You can vote for her if you guys saw her at Sigler Fest. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And of course, what is the song? Let's do this. Let's bring this volume down. And the reason I'm pimping this is I enjoy it, but my guitarist, Severiano Wada, is dead set on winning this damn thing. Oop, that was too loud. Sorry, babe. So we're just going to let you see a little bit. There's my cousin. We have the same beard.
I love this video. And I mentioned last week, I'll say briefly again, the drummer was such a rock star. That's obviously a rock star if he's playing the drums in a rock song, but he landed like an hour and a half before they shot this, I think coming from Monaco or something out
crazy.
of the country somewhere, and was like, dude, my flight was late, blah, 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 I'm showing up. And so there's all these rockers, and he's in his very
He's in his
clean polo and just rocked it. It was
Look at
great.
Sevy tearing it up.
Yeah. I love it.
And the band lost its keyboard player, Austin Farmer, looking for a keyboard player. But Austin said he'd be happy to write stuff. He's just he's not going to get up on stage with his keytar, which is a disaster. A disaster in the world of rock and roll. He's not going to bring his keytar on stage.
There it is.
Could not be more bummed. Such a great dude.
Well, you know,
Great dude.
if this song gets selected, maybe the SDMAs will invite you to play. And surely he'd
we'll
show
get
up
him.
one more time with the keytar.
Look at that keytar. It's like a giant battle axe of a keytar. It's just incredible. He's like the Gene Simmons of keyboards.
Yeah, he's
And
great.
he decided, hello, Jen Sherwood. So, wait for it.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
And we'll fade out like a pro.
Come on!
Fade out like a pro. So if you haven't heard that song, it's on Spotify. You can go listen to it there. You can go to YouTube, youtube.com/superweaponband, or go to superweaponband.com. Scroll down. It's on there somewhere, I am sure. So, hey, if you got nothing else to do in this COVID crap, just vote. There's that. And now we go back to Maine. Interesting. Let me turn that off real quick.
So we have as you guys know, if you are signed up for our newsletter, we have a new email newsletter provider, and it's a little glitchy dog right now. We got a little things to work out, which is always the way when you do. As you guys already know, we're switching website providers, all this stuff. So that's part of it, and it's a little bit glitchy, but you can talk more about some of the reasons why.
We are in the process of moving everything over to Shopify, which is kind of the big dog in the world of vendor sites right now. And we don't know a lot about it, but we're learning about it. Eventually, the whole site will be over there. We've moved over our texting to there. So if you want to be able to get text from us, text SIGTEXT 855-955-5095. And at some point, you're going to get a big old fat 10% coupon once we launch a new site, which A was working on today, the store side of things. But there's a lot of stuff we got to figure out. So we get the first newsletter. I moved over the database over from MailChimp. Very complicated process. I get it done. I'm ready to launch an email, send it out to you guys. And it got broken in a couple places. The from email address wasn't working. It only sent out 3 emails out of the 14,400 we have. So
I was one of them, though. Yay!
I get my dander up. And I'm like, you guys have been great customer support for a while. Really fantastic, which
They
is
have
why
been
we went
really
with them. They're
fantastic,
lights out. People are always there. They're smart. They figure things. If they don't know an answer, they say, we don't know, and they figure it out. They're great. All of a sudden, there's like no help whatsoever. It takes 45 minutes to get someone. When you get them, like, I have no idea how to answer your question. I'm like, well, when are you going to be able to answer my question? Please, when are you going to be able to answer my question? I got to get the people want this. They want it. And they were like, we'll do the best we can. And I'm like, I'm not an asshole on customer support, but I'm like, we're spending a lot of money with you guys. I've been working on this for weeks. I already went through this repair process that you just had me go through. I went through it 2 weeks ago. It didn't work then either. We're running out of time. I need someone to fix this. And the poor support rep was all, okay, well, here's the thing. We don't want to make excuses, but 80% of our support reps work out of the Ukraine. And I was like, okay, all right, we'll just go ahead and send this.
Gotcha.
Figure this out.
We'll be fine.
So little did I know that international politics and fuckery was going to wind up getting in its way of our little tiny email newsletters. Just want to share that with you. It's like such a globally connected world now.
Yeah,
you have
and
no
you don't really
idea
think about
with
it.
this stuff.
That's why it's been a rough day. Yeah.
Especially in the world of computer stuff. Like
Yeah.
we've got Czechoslovakian vendor. We've got a Ukrainian vendor, and you don't know this until you sort of sign up for it and you
Yeah.
pay for it, and then you start working, and then like you find out, oh, they're all in Czechoslovakia. What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I can't think of the company name, but a lot of times we have Hulu to watch TV, and there's an ad that comes up a lot on Hulu, and it's obviously not effective for me because I can't tell you the company name. But what they are is essentially freelancing, kind of a freelancing clearinghouse sort of site, and they kind of show you like, this is your virtual assistant. She's 28. She loves her cat. She takes lunch breaks every day to go bring her kid kindergarten, or a kid in kindergarten lunch or whatever, and she works
Gordy.
your overnight because she's in Australia or something like that. So it's actually a selling point most of the time that we have a global kind of IT space, but.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about, we don't get to talk about this very often. I wish to talk about it more, but it's time to talk about, it's a new book day. It's a new book day. There's a new book out. Did I miss something, babe?
Did you?
Right here.
There's no SIGLERabrations on the list.
It's coming down.
Is it?
Right here. Boop, boop, boop.
Okay, sorry. I got nervous. He wrote the script.
Right,
Finish the script.
It's a new book day. It's a new book day. We've got a new book out called Aliens vs. Predator, Ultimate Prey. Pretty cool cover. Here we go. Let's start off. We'll show you the oh, no, wait, that's over here. There we go. Boom. Show you the cover. I gotta do this.
It is pretty cool.
Oh, I screwed the cover. You can't. I set up the cover so you can't see my goddamn name. Very nice.
Can you scroll it up or no? I guess not.
Can I do this? Can I go minus?
Nope.
Minus? No.
Oh well.
That's okay. That's all right. We're gonna go back to there. Oh, wait. Yay! There it is.
There you go.
Got some decent billing on the front cover, which is always nice. And this story is called Another Mother. So this is a brand new canonical Predator story. It also happens to be a sequel to my novel Aliens Phalanx. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I don't want to get this because it's just a short Predator story and books are expensive, we get that. It is a sequel. If you enjoyed Aliens Phalanx, you get to see some of the characters from Aliens Phalanx, the ones who survived.
For sure, yeah.
When there weren't many, but you get to see that. And here's Aliens Phalanx with my fancy little laurels, Dragon Award, Audis, no big deal. Earphones Award, no big deal. Wanted to say that we also have another Predator story coming out on June 21st. This one is called Dead Man's Switch. It's pretty cool. I enjoy it. It's up for pre-order right now. When that's out, June 21st, we will let you know. And of course, over at Siglerpedia, Big John Viscara already has, wait, gotta be here. Already has the full list. He's got all the stuff up, the different covers from the different sites, all the stories, etc., etc. So Big John is on the ball. I think that's all I have to. And it's available in ebook, audiobook, print, paperback, ebook, audiobook, paperback. And of course, it's on Audible. I know a lot of you guys are big Audible people.
So I know you hate for when we deviate from the script, but
Yep.
There's a whole discussion in the Facebook chat room going on about customer service reps and trouble, and I must introduce them to Riley. But I'll be very brief.
Go crazy.
Okay, you guys. So there is I do know this company name. There's a company named Attentive, and what they do is text-based marketing. So you sign up with them, and they SMS all of your client list and whatever for sales or pitches or whatever. And they're new and they do a lot of cold calling by email to see, hey, do you want to set up a time to hear more about this? Do you want to, maybe we can get together on Zoom, whatever. And so I got an email a couple weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago from Riley. And she was like, hey, let's get together. It's going to be great. And I wrote back and I said, hi, thanks. We're a very small company. And I had gone to their website and it's a bigger company than we can do or should do. So he's like, thanks, I checked it out. This is not in our price range. We're a two-person company. Thank you so much for reaching out, but please take me off your list. And at the bottom of her email, there was a clickable link to take yourself off the list, which I did. A couple weeks go by, I get another email. I remember, this because I go every time and I look at the website. Go back, find that I did send her an email. Send another email, reply with that email attached and say, hey, I actually unsubscribed to myself and sent this email a few weeks ago. Can you please take me off your list? And then Monday or Friday, I guess, I got another one. I got a third one. And some friends who know me really well know I sometimes call myself Proto-Karen because if anybody's going to Karen, they always look like me. And I was like, okay, just be cool. So I write back and I'm like, hey, Riley, listen. I don't know what to tell you other than I am never working with your company because you don't even respect your own guidelines. So how on earth are you going to work with me? I'm pretty sure at this point you're a bot because you've sent the exact same email 3 times. And it doesn't vary at all, even though I've unsubscribed to myself. So even though you're a bot, if you really have any answer for me, please reply and say precisely I say this. Please put in its own sentence at the top of the email, monkeys drinking daiquiris, so that I know that you have some humanity. I'll still never work with you, but at least you can be confident that you're human. Sort of sassy. Send it off. Riley emailed me back, and the first line was monkeys drinking daiquiris. I'm mortified. I was so mortified. But she was like, hey, I'm so sorry. There's obviously a glitch here. I don't mean to be doing this to you, so I know you're really upset. But can you send me some information so that I can make sure we fix this for you? And if you decide that you will reply to me, please start your email with a sentence on its own line that says, hey, you have some humanity. Which was a baller move. I was so impressed. So I write back. I say much of the same thing I just said to you. I'm mortified. They were the exact same email. I have unsubscribed to myself. I'm so sorry about that. And it turns out that, we have the media at scottsigler.com and info at scottsigler.com, and all of those feed into my asigler at emptyset.com. So she wasn't spamming me at the same email address. They were all from a list or something. So she was just sending an individual one, but I didn't know that because they always just show up in my inbox. But we had like a 4 or 5 or 6 email back and forth. And finally she was like, if you want to get on Zoom, we can always work with smaller companies. And I just said, like, this is not for us. I don't want to waste any more of your time. And she was really sweet about it. But for the record, that was a fantastic, terrible customer service experience that I wanted to share with you.
As we mentioned, this week, we'll go back to the open. This is Read Across America Week. And a little bit about that. It seemed pretty cool. Each year, the National Read Across America Day is celebrated on March 2nd, the birthday of Dr. Seuss. The annual event is part of Read Across America, an initiative on reading created by the National Education Association, the NEA. We know them well.
Yeah.
Since the event is designed to encourage reading in children and is fostered through the schools, when March 2nd lands on a weekday, the day is observed on the closest school day. The Motivational and Awareness Day calls all children and the youths in every community across the United States to celebrate reading and encourages them to read where they are. Great ways to inspire reading include keep books everywhere you spend time. Put them in the car, in every room of your house, and tuck them into backpacks and purses. Make them easily accessible.
Another way that you can increase your family's reading is by visiting a library often when COVID allows. Knowing how to use the library and learning from the benefits provided for free by your local library fosters love of reading as well as genuine respect for the services libraries provide.
That's good. My mom used to take me to the library all the damn time. Get caught reading. Children imitate what they see when the adults around them do. That's a horrible sentence structure. Children imitate what they see the adults around them doing. Okay, I've been writing too much today. That sentence needs to be reworked. Yeah. Whether they see you read a magazine.
Do not edit somebody else's work.
Whether they see you read. you have not been in publishing long enough. You always edit other people's work all the time.
You should be writing your own books.
Semicolon, you vile fiend. Sequential comma. What is wrong with you? Whether they see you reading a magazine, newspaper, or novel, let them know reading is the cool thing to do.
And, of course, read. If you have children, read to them. This actually happened to my brother and I'm not sure that Jude is in the chat room tonight, but my brother and my mom would read to us a lot, and be very descriptive in her words of like the big red fire truck instead of just a fire truck, things like that. And that really helped us both. But read to your children, no matter what their age. Reading aloud strengthens their vocabulary and language skills. It also opens...
Sorry.
also opens up opportunities for conversation. You may take...
Fuck you. You're not reading it. I'm taking it away from you. Fuck you.
Take this script now.
And have your children read to you too. You never know what you might learn.
It's true.
The Utes. Have the Utes read to you.
And I will say, we had Mallory O'Meara as a guest on the show, was it Monster of the Week?
Monster of the Week, yeah.
She's an author. She's a friend of ours. And she has a podcast called Reading Glasses, and it's terrific. And if you are a reader and you like podcasts, this is how to be a good reader. It's not a review site. It's great. But one of the things that she said on one of the very early shows, and she repeats very often, is people often ask her how she reads so many books. And she says, because if I have 3 minutes, like I'm waiting at CVS and I have 3 minutes, I read. Because that still gets the story across. And I picked that up from her, and I'm a bigger audiobook than reading with my eyes. I read with my ears. And now I do that. And I often, sometimes even on the show, I'll have my headphones hanging here because if I'm going to like wash dishes or something like that, 4 minutes, still listen. Make new coffee, still listen.
Shocker, we're a huge audiobook family. I still have, I've got one print book I've been reading for 10 months now. And not all the way through it. In that time, I've gone through 50 audiobooks. I couldn't even say.
I read one book, and I don't have this problem because I have a little bit, I'm a little bit better able to pay attention when I'm physically reading a book, but I just finished Peter Kleins's The Broken Room, and I really enjoyed it. So if you guys are into this, it's a little interdimensional fantasy-ish, but I really like him, and this is I had fun with this book.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new contest for you today. Win $100 of credit in the scottsigler.com/shop. A, want to tell them we're very specific about this one. This is another button, but A, tell them what they have to do to win.
So it's going to be important for this one because I think many of you have this character as a favorite of yours, and it'll be easy for you to pick it out, especially if you're vaguely my age. That's what I think. So to win the $100 credit, you must be the first person to email the answer. Email the answer to info@emptyset.com. You must email it. If you put it in the chat room first, that's great. We'll still talk about it and have fun, but you won't get the credit. And whoever sends that in first gets the credit. So if I were you, before putting it in the chat room, I would shoot me an email. It can be just the character's name in the subject line. That's all it needs to be.
Do you lean to your the info at Empty Set right back there? I also put in the chat room. Here we go. So we have another. Let's go to. Boop. We have another Stone Wolves character, as we've mentioned on the show before. And I go through and get character inspiration from comedians, actors, bit parts, politicians, anything, so that I can use what is called a button and listen to that, say, politician talk for a while before I do the part when we're recording. And that is how I keep track of hundreds of different characters. And then we make a big list, and Steve Iceberg builds us audio files for all these characters. So I'll be reading, time to switch chapter, new character, and I'll be like, baby, can you play the Beans character for me? And then she'll play, and I'll hear it in my headphones, like, cool. And I'll repeat those lines, and then I'm back in character. I have the right vocal cadence and timbre, if you will, and then I can do the character. But we thought, yes.
Before you play it, they're talking about it in the chat room. People notice that it's 85% off. That is a site-wide Audible sale.
Sheesh.
50 to 80%.
I didn't see that at all.
Yeah, 50 to 85%. It's a site-wide sale at Audible. So if you are an audiobook listener who has an Audible account and you're missing books, go get them, because I've gotten a couple of folks who emailed to say, like, just so you know, I picked up all these Sigler books. I hope you guys get paid.
Dude, you gotta let me know that stuff so I can promote it. I didn't see that at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Vaughn, I agree with you. Every cat is a holy cat.
Actually, Vaughn, every cow is a holy cow.
Not necessarily.
Holy cow! This episode's brought to you by Budweiser. All right.
So here we go. We're going to do this button.
Yes, we're going to do the
like
button.
I said, we can. I think you guys are going to guess it while we're talking about it, honestly. So we can talk about it here.
Melissa.
But to get that credit, you need to be the first person to email info@emptyset. And
Okay.
if I personally have chatted about this character with you before, you don't get to win. I
You
think
don't get
that's
to
just
win.
me and
Veto you.
Steve, though.
So here we go. I will ride this volume, but be aware when I play a file, sometimes it can come out a little hot. So here we go.
Hey, Melissa.
And this is, your job is to identify the person or character that my audio part is inspired by.
I would have you know that bedbug is a species' term, and also quite dismissive of my gender.
It's just that I've never seen a male Sklorno do anything more than
Anything more than custodial jobs.
being said.
Clean up for barkeeps, facility janitors, maids, that sort of service work. Oh, and bounce up and down, dying to hump every female Sklorno that moves. Right?
There you go. There
Again,
you go.
if you're about to put guesses in the chat room, email your guess to info@emptyset first before you do that to potentially be the first person so you win the $100 credit.
And of course, if you were intrigued by this book and have not yet listened to it because you don't listen to the GFL or you only listen to GFL novels, $3.74 if you are an Audible customer. That's like, you can buy that and keep your credit. It's so good. Also, I'd like to point out, we are pimping to get reviews of this book. Right now, you guys are crushing it. 302 ratings. That's up from last week. It's rated at 5 stars. And that means it's darn good seasoning, sister. That's what it means. And now we are done with done with that. All right, now it's time to get to time for the junkies. Oh, looks like I screwed something up, didn't I? Anyways, this is our
That's okay.
first
I can
junkie
do this.
picture.
Yeah, this is our good friend Bruce McLaughlin. His son just graduated from high school this past weekend. It was an early graduation, and he. Bruce knows that I'm a big fan of the phrase from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, "St. Nemus High School football rules," he sent this. This was the spirit board that they made for him graduating. The school did, and so he just said, can never be enough San Dimas High School football rules. But I wanted to congratulate the McLaughlin family on the early graduation of their son from high school.
And next one is...
Oh, okay. So we're doing all of these. So this is Munchkin Pond, and her parents, Tori and Scott, are in the chat room tonight. 2 things about the Munchkin. Number 1, she turned 16 on Monday, this past Monday. And if you are friends of theirs on Facebook, they had this super fun celebration. It was safe. It was a handful of like people she loves and are like close to her. And they got to do all sorts of fun, cool things. And I wish I was a pond on my 16th birthday. That's how I felt about all of that. But the week gets better for the Munchkin because she just found out that she has got a spot on the varsity softball team, and this is her in her new Warriors uniform. So congratulations to all the ponds. I have one other pond celebration, but it comes with no photo, so keep the Munchkin up there. Recently, this week, I think maybe last week, Scott, who, as you guys know, they're our chosen family. They are integral to the Empty Set. Scott is our in-house Empty Set designer. And 3 years ago, he started his journey with colon cancer. And today, he's 3 years cancer-free. No, not started, ended, I guess. Ended his journey with chemo and radiation and surgeries and all of that stuff. And found out last week he's 3 years cancer-free, which makes me so happy I could cry.
It's wonderful.
Take over.
It's wonderful. I will take over. I'm going to the next one. And this is from the inaugural Academy of Podcasters Award Ceremony and the inaugural Podcasters Hall of Fame, which Mighty Murr Lafferty and myself were indoctrinated into.
Yeah, and I put this up here for several reasons. One, because Murr and Scott, this was the first inaugural class. There were 10 podcasters who were initiated into the Hall of Fame as the Hall of Fame initiated, and Scott and Murr were the 2 podcast fiction people. So they cahooted, as you can see, to have badass, ridiculous outfits, and they coordinated so because they knew they would be up on the stage together. The terrific guy who was right next to them, that is Danny Pena. Danny Pena now currently works for G4, but started his podcasting career a billion years ago, talking about games, talking about life, and he can be found on Twitter and all the social medias is at Godfrey with 2 E's.
Super cool dude.
G-O-D-F-R-E-E.
Super cool
wonderful dude. So the podcast awards and the inaugural or the Hall of Fame inductees for this year, that's going to be at the end of this month, and our own Evo Terra is being inducted.
Yes, Evo Terra is being inducted, working on some super secret awesome stuff for the world of Siglerism. And dude, Mur and I look good, son.
And you look so good. It was so fun.
We look good. And then this went down actually last night.
Yeah, I'm wearing far less makeup.
On your right is your favorite neighborhood walking cadaver, and on your left is a real girl herself.
And I wasn't drinking anything yesterday, but I sure look in the nose like I was celebrating Mardi Gras. I don't know why that is.
And in the middle is Joe Root, former commander in the U.S. Navy. I believe I have the rank correct. I'm not entirely sure. But Joe, we went out to dinner with Joe. He was in town doing some military stuff.
Yep.
And he is one of the primary consultants for helping set up the structure for the crypt. Again, the crypt will be a 5-book series. There's an enormous amount of nuts and bolts stuff to cover. We have to cover the military structure, the rank structure, the promotion structure, the ship itself, the ship loadout, everything that's designed, and all of the secret stuff that's in the ship that you won't see until books 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're going to get all that down before we even start writing.
Yeah.
And the first draft is due June 1st, by the way. So I'm in trouble.
It was interesting to talk with Joe. We've known he and his wife for a really long time now. Now he and his whole family, right? Yeah. So we've known Joe and Anna. They're sort of friends in common of friends that we met them at DragonCon because they have very good friends who are good friends of ours in a different circle. And so we got to hang out with them, and they were, I think we've always known them married, but now they have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's
a little crazy. And I think that is it for the pictures. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But we got to go time. Okay, so bear with us, people. Remember bearings. Books information. We've already covered a lot of this, but go back to books. Boom, books. Boom, books. Boom. Episode 23 of The Stone Wolves is up. Episode 24 is coming this week. We are running out of episodes. It'll be over very soon. Spinal Tap is up there from Story Smack episode number 79 with Rob Otto, Empty Set movie maven, and comic book expert, which is important when he talks about the Batman, Bat Begin, Bat Rise, something with the word bat in it. The Batarang double feature with the Bat Blender. The Bat Blender and the Bat Butt Wipe, which is my favorite. The Bat Butt Wipes, listen, you guys, if you got hemorrhoids, the Bat Butt Wipe is absolutely the best. The best thing in the world that you can find.
Iceberg. So far, we have several guesses. We do not have a correct guess.
Remember, you got to email it. It's not going to count.
Yeah, that's what he asked. Did anybody email the answer in yet?
And let's get an update.
Congratulations, Kim, on your dog River's 12th birthday. I know how much you guys love your pups, so that's going to be a very fun
Mike and Mistakes Bat Shark Repellent Spray. That was an actual thing. I just happened to have some rubbing. And then let's get an update. Ladies and gentlemen, GFL 7 has degirthified. If you remember, I had 174. Yeah, last week it was up to like 173 or something in that ballpark. And I've done some work on it. Apparently I did a bunch of work on it today. I didn't realize it was up 170,000 again. But now we are at 100. Nope, that's the wrong goddamn graphic. Hold on. Now I understand why I was so confused. Let's see if I can fix this.
I know where you are.
Real work. Vamp, baby, while I get this done.
So let me see. What can I tell you about? I already told you about Riley. That's the best thing that happened to me, except for having dinner with Joe last night, all this week. I will say on next week's show, we had so much to talk about today.
There we go.
I have. Oh, there you
go.
There
we go. Back down under 170,000. By the time I get it to Big John Viscara to go through the continuity edit, he will be tasked with find the fat and cut it out. Let's see if we can get this thing down a little bit. So yes, Steve, a little shrinkage. It was very cold in the writing room today, and there was a little bit of shrinkage. And somebody was campaigning for me to get to 110% of the projected word count. Hopefully that will not happen. But math is my kryptonite by far. I had to, I measured out, there are 39 chapters left that I have to go through and listen to them. So that is what I do is I write it, then I go through and visually edit it, and then I go through and have the computer read it to me, so I'm hearing it like it would be podcasted, which is helpful for editing. So I have 39 of those to go, and then it will be off to Big John. And now we got pup dates?
Yeah, we got
pup
a couple
dates.
pup dates.
Make sure pup dates. Boom, pup dates. I don't know if we did this one last
I
week or
think
not.
that one might have been there last week, but I'm not sure we did any pup dates because we had trouble sizing this next photo. So you might
Yes.
not have seen that, but it might be from 2 weeks ago. Either way, she's
Scott
adorable.
Pond, you're not helping. Let's go to the big pup pick. And I think, did we cover this
Oh,
last
we
week?
might
I don't
have covered
remember.
it, but I don't know why those are there and not the.
Because I thought we hadn't done them.
Yeah, but these are not the photo. Go to the next one because
They're-
that
they're-
is not the other photo in the.
No, that's coming up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So this is where we show off our dogs because we don't have
'Cause
we
I
don't have human
forgot.
children. So we show off our
And
dog
I think
babies.
you have at least the celebratory photo. I'm sure you guys have seen before. We pull it out every time we finish.
We'll
we
have that
something
very
to
soon.
celebrate.
We'll have
Yeah.
that very soon when I send that off. And then let's go to the pup show. And this is
That's what I was afraid of.
I've never shown this before. I don't think.
I'm sure maybe it's Siglerfest or somewhere.
Maybe, but this while I respect cosplay, I am not a cosplayer. I do not want to spend the time doing that. It does not do a thing for me. I like to watch other people cosplay. It's super fun doing it myself. The one cosplay that I have ever done. Oops, let's get rid of this. There it is. That is throwback to Nocturnal. That is Emma, who is no longer with us. And that was back in the San Francisco days. And that was a Brian Clauser.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the savior with his dog, kind of scoping things out, looking for a nocturnal to kill or whatever.
So a couple of things about this photo are really kind of fun for empty set, and I'll run through them. Of course, it's very, very cool that Scott is Brian Clauser. Scott is one of his characters because we talk a lot, especially during the Q&A parts of this show. The answer comes back to yes. There's a little bit of Scott's character in some of his characters. You know, we know that there's some of him in Quentin. We know that there's some of him in Pookie, things like that. So to actually see him as a character is super fun. Number two, Emma, the dog that Robin Hudson owns in Nocturnal, is named after this dog, whose name is Emma. So she is the closest to autobiographical, I think, of any of the Tuckerized people in Scott's books. Because, you know, if you've been named in a book, you are almost assuredly not named as the thing you are currently in your life, like a school teacher, you know, named Shannon or something like that. However, Emma was described exactly as she looks, exactly her sort of personality, and of course her name. So I think that's fun too. Number three, the last one of these that's interesting about this is go back.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Is the photographer, the person who took that photo, is me.
Yay!
And I had flown up to San Francisco. We'd been in talks to make what is now Empty Set a little bit, and we were actively working on the Rookie, getting the Rookie into print. And I had come up for something like we had to go to the bank, I'd do something about that, and the flight meant I had to stay overnight or something, and we did this in the meantime, which is pretty cool.
In the chat room, my high school buddies Rob and Dan are just killing it.
Oh, there's one other thing about this photo. That mask was made by a friend, by a junkie whose name is Cammie, who, when we're talking about it, it turns out is a friend of mine, which is insane because I didn't introduce her to Sigler, I don't think, at all, and she didn't introduce me to Sigler, so that was kind of weird.
All right, and then we have this lovely. Who's this baby?
Reagan, this is.
is
I can't remember.
Forgot it? Okay.
Well, yeah, I'll
Reagan's in
look
the
it up.
chat room. Reagan put it in. But this cat knitted this shawl. It's incredible work.
She actually sent in a handful of questions and is like, just as payment, here's a cute photo of my pup whose name is Natasha, or my cat whose name is Natasha. I knew I would remember.
All this talk in the chat room about Nocturnal, it makes me want to write a Nocturnal sequel, but you will not see that till 2024 or 2025. I'm in a lot of trouble.
2099.
I'm in an enormous amount of trouble. And and of course my concentration is just shot to hell with everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And I got to rally. I got to rally. There's nothing. And so we've done all of that. Books tab, pup dates and pics. We got through that way faster than I thought we would.
I know you were
anything?
very concerned about it. Let me check and see if anybody's guessed our.
Reagan, what's the cat's name? We couldn't find it.
Natasha. I said.
Natasha, you found it. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. No, Steve. World War III will not occur until I deliver GFL Book 7 and Book 1 of the Crypt. Then everybody can die. I got to get that done. Yeah.
Andrew, if you can hear me, Andrew, who just sent in a guest to Empty Set, yes, that is absolutely Beanstalk and Quentin. We're asking who you think the inspiration for that voice was. What actual actor in this world inspired that character? But you're right, that's Beans talking to Quentin.
I did a bad job on this. I also, somebody else not quite get what we were going for. Let me go through this one more time. I'll let you listen to it. It's very short. What we are trying to do is, can you identify the celebrity or politician or comedian or part played by an actor or actress that I used as inspiration for the vocal pattern and speech of the part? So I do all the Beans lines. That's me talking. That's Beans talking to Quentin. But your task, if you want to win $100 in scottsigler.com/shop, is who is that voice inspired by? Who am I doing a bad impression of? Let's listen to it one more time.
Oops.
That's all right. Let's still play.
I would have you know that bedbug is a species' term, and also quite dismissive of my gender.
It's just.
This isn't Beans.
I've never seen a male Sklorno do anything more than.
I will say that the last clip you hear of Beans in this little button might help you. That might be relevant.
Okay, here we go. And here's the end of the clip.
More than custodial jobs.
Beans said.
Clean up for barkeeps, facility janitors, maids, that sort of service work. Oh, and bounce up and down, dying to hum every female Sklorno that moves. Right?
I have to turn off the chat room now because I'm not able to get to the show because Dr. Daniel Baker, PhD, and Rob are on fire, and neither one of you are funny. Just not funny at all. It's time for.
I feel like that's not the case.
They're dropping 30-year-old bombs right now. It's pretty awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for. Are we ready? We ready?
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing, but sure.
It's time for questions. Any questions?
I was not ready.
It's a lady taped to a chair. She seemed pretty calm for being taped up with the duct tape. We've got some questions. I don't know what the show is.
So
here we go.
I'll start with Mike from Alaska. Asks a couple of questions. First one is from both a business and time into intellectual work standpoint. Were you at all nervous to be the first author to release a full book for free via podcast? And do you think you would be where you are now had you not had to do so?
Yes, I was nervous about it in a small amount because I was told by many people, I was not published. Keep in mind, I was not published. And that was the goal. I've been at it for 12 years, banging away real hard. Rob, Dan, go crazy with that. For 12 years, and nothing had happened. I had over 100 rejection letters, blah, blah, blah. I've talked about this before. But people were telling me, if you podcast your book, no one will want to publish the book because you have compromised the audiobook rights. And I thought that was a bunch of bunk because, big companies like money. And if big companies think they can sell a thing you've made and they can make money, they don't really give a damn about any of that stuff. So I was pretty confident that if I get a big audience, bring them to the table, use that audience to sell a print version of the book, use the print version book sales to go show the publishers, hey, look at this, I sold all these books, isn't this great? Then all that audiobook rights stuff would not matter. Funny side story is, 15 years after that, now it completely matters. Now you got to be very careful to hold on to your audiobook rights because that's all anybody really wants. Print rights, ebook rights, they want them and they'll make money at them, but the big money maker for everybody right now is audiobooks. So you have to make sure your audiobook rights are pristine. So that was that. I was nervous about it, did it anyways. Would I be where I am now without it? I think probably not, because I did get a big swing at the plate in the big leagues. I got signed to a big deal for the Infected trilogy, and for every successful author you see out there with thousands of fans, all the fun, there's fans who got the TV show, fans who are very killing Instagram, selling lots of books, whatever. There are hundreds of thousands of people who got books published that same year that you will never hear from and are there and gone immediately. Somewhere around 330,000 books get published in America every year. And that's not that might be counting indies. But so Would have eventually got a shot at the title without podcasting? I don't know, because it was what I told you about before. Use the podcast, build up an audience, go sell a bunch of print books, show that to New York, get them to sign me because I proved I can sell books on my own. Now I think, well, shoot, if we help them, it's going to be even bigger. That's what got me Infected. And
Right.
then the quality of the Infected book, absolutely. That's what got a push for Infected. But that push did not go the way the publishers wanted it to. So two things come out of that. So would I be where I am now without podcasting? Maybe, probably not. Because what podcasting did was give me a stable audience of fans and readers like all of you who felt more of a personal connection to me and were listening to everything that I would put out. So now after I've been, chewed up and spit out by the big publishing world, I still sell a certain number of books. We do that on our own. Without them, we don't need them, and we've got all the rights to all our stuff, and everything's pretty cool. So maybe I'd be where I am if I had doubled down and just, instead of spending a lot of time podcasting, written more books, written faster, got stuff out there. But who's to say? All I know is that without podcasting, we wouldn't have this right here. You guys wouldn't be watching this right now. We wouldn't have the lovely community that we have.
Yeah, and I was going to say that there's this idea that a creative person, a creative who wants to do that for a living, if they can amass 1,000 true fans, if you have 1,000 true fans, you'll probably always be able, within reason, to succeed with you being a creative and not have to have a day job or something like that. Or you can make it work where your day job is minimal and your writing is maximal or whatever. And I think that's the thing that is really, it's inestimable how I did it too, inestimable. It's really, really hard to imagine how significant an impact that is for us. But one really small way to look at it is the experience that we all had collectively when The Gangster finally published, and we were heartbroken. The Empty Set crew was kind of heartbroken about some of the issues with the book and the length of time it took to get it to you. And you guys just ran with it. You loved all over it and ran with it, and that literally changed our outlook.
Totally.
And so that's really special. And I don't think we would have that had he not built from the ground up.
Mike in Mistake asks, do I bring a different mindset to marketing my books versus marketing my cousin's band? Yes. Yeah. No? Yeah.
All balls to the wall all the time.
Well, I have not yet begun to market my cousin's band. We've been trying to slot that in with all the crazy writing demands I have to find time to market my cousin's band. Getting a few things in place, but probably, I'd say in 3 or 4 months, things are going to get a little bit nutty. I know that Sebi, the guitar player, is ramping up his social media game, and he has asked very politely for Mr. Merciless to start making regular social media appearances and actually talk. And you guys, Mr. Merciless, my cousin, is not all there. He's doesn't have all his cups in his
Some of
cupboard.
you have met other Sigler cousins.
Some of the plates in the stack are cracked.
And they're not all there either.
The cornerstone might not be properly seated, so to speak. So things are going to get a little bit nutty, but he's going to come over in a couple weeks and we should be in good shape. What's that?
We have a winner.
Oh, damn. You shouldn't have said that. I wanted people to get their...
Well, why didn't you run? You said, what was that?
But we've been married a while. We're supposed to be able to be like, I'm like, what is that? And you're supposed to be like this.
Okay.
And I'm like, I got it. Steal
At
second.
the top
Perfect.
of this hour, I mentioned that Scott pretty much communicates in movie quotes, so you can see why it's confusing.
But to end that question, so the first question, yes, podcasting's great. You guys are all great. We'll be able to do this for the rest of our lives thanks to you guys. And Super Weapon, you'll be hearing more from Super Weapon in the near future. Next question.
Are we going to talk about this?
What?
The winner?
No, we talked about this before the show. They have to email it in.
Okay, but then they did.
So we're done?
I don't know. You guys, I apparently don't know the plan. Should we just have questions?
Let's just do questions. Went down to the kitchen table. I'm like, okay, here's exactly what we have to do this week. Got it? Got it. And next question. Let's go to questions. Questions. Oh, we've got questions.
So Kim Hansen, who is in the chat room, asked last week, and I love this question, who do you think your kindest female character is?
The kindest female character? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, M. Savage, not very kind. Aaliyah, who is in the Predator story we talked about. Let's call that up real quick. Aaliyah is definitely not kind at all. By the way, another reminder. Let's turn that off. Sorry. Boop, boop, boop. If you read Aliens Phalanx and want to see more of those characters, some of those characters are in Aliens vs. Predator Ultimate Prey. So Aaliyah, not a very nice character. Kayla Myers, sort of nice in her own,
not at all.
in her own special way.
I think Robin Hudson is nice.
Robin Hudson was
And
very,
he's sort
very
of
nice.
too nice in a handful of ways. But isn't there like, and I think what's Mama
All right,
Hunterson?
Jenna Leah will announce it. Rob Otto says Denver.
That's
Bravo!
yes.
Bravo! I would not have thought of that. That is absolutely. She does love everybody.
She does. Well, not everybody, but
No, when she's on the field, there's
that's
not
true.
a lot of love going on.
There's right, exactly.
But much like me, I'm the most loving, kind, caring, generous, modest, wonderful person you could ever meet in the real world. But get on a wrestling mat, it's different. It's a different animal. It's different. It's a different animal. All right. Yes, people want to know the winner. Go ahead and announce the winner.
Well, you do it.
The winner is Aaron Melzak. God darn it. That screws it up. That's not correct.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's an autobiographical character. It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not from.
No, I know what you're saying, but
But
it's
that
fine.
doesn't matter. Okay.
It doesn't.
So Beans was inspired by Jay of Jay and Silent Bob.
Jay
I'm gonna fuck
Muse.
this chick. I'm gonna fuck this chick. I'm gonna fucking bang all the chicks. And like that, A and Steve had to listen to me repeat his line so many times. I think we're gonna play it. We gotta keep vamp,
Bears.
baby.
So Jay, that's Jay Muse, and the reason that he was saying, well, because the line that he's looking at, or that he was saying, is not in the movie that Aaron said, was not in Jane Silent Bob Strike or whatever. But that doesn't matter because this particular soundbite, which he says, something Sklornos, I'm gonna do. I forget what it is, but
I'm gonna bang this chick. I'm gonna bang that chick. I'm gonna bang all the chicks.
That's what that's what Jay Muse's character says, and I was really super active in that the Viewisk universe back when they had a BBS, and so I've heard this story. He's told it on like Q&A nights and stuff like that. That's actually that's how Jay and Kevin Smith met. Kevin Smith was working at like the YMCA or something in his town, or maybe it's a high school gym. I don't know. He was sitting like at the front desk or whatever, and just sitting there waiting because he was working, and I think rec center, and one of the two double doors slam open. And this kid comes in, and there's a handful of like standing video games, because it's the 80s, and he essentially fillets every joystick and every doorknob in the room because he thinks I don't know if he thinks he's alone, but he seems to think he's alone. And isn't that great? And of course, Kevin Smith, if you know Kevin Smith, you know that even at 16, he just sat there like,
That dude's magnetic.
what is this fantasticness, and that's how they became friends, and that is of course in the Jay character very much so. But the I'm gonna fuck all that specific thing was from an autobiographical story,
Okay.
so it's fine.
Okay, and I don't. This computer's not able to play that file, but can you make a note, babe? We'll play that next week.
Sure.
We'll actually play the line I had to listen to. Bears, rhinos.
That's another one.
We'll play the thing that we all listen to, I'm going to guess, 1,000 times
Yes.
while recording this book. Because sometimes I would need them to play it again. And then I would imitate it. And then I would go ahead and do Beans. And Beans was the most fun I've ever had.
And hands down,
recording a
the
character
most fun that
ever.
Steve and I have ever had working with Scott to record a character. Because, you know.
Steve's quoting in the chat. Yeah. Steve's like, bears, rhinos.
And there are even on the raw recordings, I can hear Scott when the microphone is off, of course, and not a lot of that because I'm physically there. So Steve can't really hear that. So I'll hear him, and my mic is hot because I'm talking to Scott, but I'll hear him go like, bears, 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 rhinos. And it'll crack me up, and then Steve will hear me laugh and just assume it's beans because it was always beans.
And as Steve pointed out, there were many, many ruined takes. Because the second half of the book, I started to get beans completely dialed in, and I would deliver, and so I didn't need to hear the button anymore. I would be like, all right, I'm Killian, I'm talking, and this has got to happen. And I'd be like, this has got to happen, and then I'd be like, Steve, don't cut this out. Bears, rhinos, and then they would just start laughing, and I'm like, we got to go back and redo
Many a
that.
take ruined. Hey, Jude, nice to see you.
Hey, Jude's in the house. All right, so let's do one more question, and apparently it's very hot. It's not apparently. It's very hot in this office, so we're probably not going to go too long tonight. We've gone through this cold snap, and I had sort of everything dialed in because this is a heavily, heavily insulated room. So as soon as the temperature goes up a snoochie boochie, it's hot. Ness, go ahead, baby.
Who is the most famous person you have ever met?
The most famous person I've ever met. Well, that'd be George R. R. Martin, I believe. That's the one that stands out the most. I got to drink for half an hour, 45 minutes, just me and George at a Comic-Con, and went. I was a brand new shiny author, got sent to Comic-Con, go in, and of course I'm from the Midwest, and I haven't got used to the West Coast ethos of show business, which is if it's a 9 a.m. call time, you roll in about 10:15, 10:30. If you had to sleep, you roll in about 11. Oh, you got a meeting at noon? Well, we're going to let you know at 1:30 that we're not going to make that meeting and ask you to come back another day and book another flight. All this crap. I haven't gotten used to this yet. So I go to Comic-Con, and I'm supposed to be at this bar for the Random House party at, say, 7 o'clock. So I'm there at 6:35. I'm there. Make sure I'm early. I didn't get lost. Got everything covered. And I walk into the bar, and the bar's empty. A feeling I'm used to. I walk into the bar, and I get very anxious about that crap. So I walk in the bar. I'm like, I'm in the wrong bar. I totally got this wrong. I'm going to be late. And in my family, you don't be late. You don't be late in a Sigler family. And then I'm like, calm down. And then I see David come out, and David's our contact. He's like, why are you here so early? I'm like, just kind of a couple minutes early. He's like, no one's going to show up till 11. Then why did you book it at 7? He's like, that's just how it's done. I'm like, okay, great. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll just sit down and start drinking. And I go to the corner of the bar. It's the Bootlegger Bar in San Diego. And there is a wide gentleman at the corner, this corner of the bar. So I go to this corner of the bar. He's here. I sit right here. There's a ball game on TV. So I sit down. I'm like, hey, how's it going, man? He's like, it's going very good. And I look at him like, and this is after book 2 of the Game of Thrones. So he's
Which
already
you loved.
He's already a giant friggin', a giant star. I met him once on a panel before when he wasn't yet a giant star, but it was just percolating. And I'm like, it's fucking George R. R. Martin.
Cool.
I'll take the panel. I'll take the other fine. He's got the little fucking hat on and everything. And he's just sitting there by himself, just, having a beer and being a friggin' gangster. And I got to hang out and talk to George for a long time.
Yeah.
And this was the best part of it. So at this point, he has ascended to the upper Stephen King levels of fame and fandom. But he's so approachable and normal. We're sitting there drinking, talking, everything's cool. And then as the crowd starts to pack in, David comes and gets George. George, we're gonna take you over here. Okay, George, over here. And look up, and I'm half in the bag at this point, having a great time. I look up, and George, they brought him a fucking throne, a literal golden throne. And they put this throne in the open area of the bar, and George has been writing a long time, you guys. George has been in the wars. George has bought a lot of ramens. George has paid his dues, son. And George is just sitting in his golden throne, got his little hat on, big old smile on his face, and just, there's a row of people sitting on their butt, a row of people kneeling, a row of people saying, everybody just kind of being around George and asking George questions, and George he's got a Santa laugh. So that was the most famous person I ever met, I think. Although I've hung out with Adam Savage a bunch. Yeah. He's also very, very famous. But I think when you start to hang out with a person a little bit, you lose track of that famousness.
Yeah.
So I'd say Adam Savage is awesome. George R. R. Martin. And if I've met other famous people, I can't remember.
I think for me, it's probably Barack Obama. I did.
So what?
Yeah, you know this. It was at the Carrier Classic.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I used to be an event planner in San Diego with my good friend Allison, and we did in I think it was 2012, but I don't exactly remember. In San Diego they did something called the Carrier Classic, where who's the Michigan team? The Spartans. The Spartans
yes.
played the Tar Heels on the deck of an aircraft carrier, and they built a court and everything, and they and stadium seating and on the top of an aircraft carrier, and it was service member families and people who were like loyal 50-year members of the, I don't know what they're called, in the alumni club or something, the pep team, the people who raise money. Boosters, thank you.
Okay.
So at the time, my good friend Allison and I, we're not very sporty, and we're absolutely not well versed in these teams or college basketball in general. So our job is we have several jobs along the way, but one of the things we have to do at the very beginning is this is like a reward for them. So we're welcoming them and cheering them on and all that stuff. So we're standing there and we're handing out lanyards or something. And all these like beautiful little old ladies and very tall men come dripping in their team colors. I mean, dripping. Earrings, beads like this, hats that have like antlers that all are Tar Heel, whatever. And we're such idiots at the time. We're like, okay, what do you say? And so I text Scott, and he's like, well, you say Sparty. Like for the Spartans, you're like, go Sparty. And I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, well, I don't. And he's like, and I try to find out, because he's a Michigander, I try to find out what the Tar Heels, what you say to them, like go Tarry or I don't know what. But you literally just go Tar Heels. That's what you do. So that works out. And then the next thing we're supposed to do is go up to the court to seat VIPs. And we do that. And when we get up there, we are managing. So we know there's nobody else up there yet. But the first person to show up is Magic Johnson. And Magic Johnson thinks we are not there to seat everyone, but there to be there if he needs anything, or at least one of us. So I have these, I'll find one and show you next week. I have these crazy pictures where I'm sitting, and I know it's Magic Johnson. I'm not that sportless. I'm like, I can't do anything else for this giant event because Magic Johnson wants me to sit right here. It was the craziest thing. And then Scott was watching on TV, and at halftime, he and Jody saw us and everything else and texted like, we see you in your red shirts. And so then we got trapped because of the Magic Johnson thing. We kind of got trapped in the seats right where he was, which was center court. And Barack Obama came out to sit literally on the other side of center court. So what he did first was come and handshake everybody who was right there. So we got to meet Barack Obama and say hello and whatever. And that was pretty cool.
I got to go through the chat room. Those of you following the chat room. Yeah. So we're like, I met this person. And then the chat room asks who met who. And everybody's like, this is very famous. I'm trying to find, I find Maria's. Hold on. And Maria just comes in and name drops. Oh, it's gone. Dang it. It was very funny. Oh, no big deal. I met Nelson Mandela. It's all right. Oh, yeah. And then there was also this one time that I met Carl Sagan. But it's no big deal. It's no big deal, brah. All right. What time we got?
We're done.
7:04. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and round this up. We're finally getting a little bit of cool air in here, but still, that's a whole episode for another time. Talk about famous people have met. Sure. Here, I'll say this real quick. Although I've met a couple of famous people and they've been lovely and wonderful moments, the first thing that pops into my mind, and only you WWF people will get this, is I was on, before I'd met anybody famous, before I'd done any writing, just a kid from Michigan with a dream. And I was out doing customer support on a on-site call. I can't remember where, maybe Vegas. Mm-hmm. And this is like literally the third time I've flown in a jet plane in my whole life. I never flew in a plane until I was in college, and doing this job. So I'm all shiny and eager, and I'm in the car early, and I'm waiting in the car, ready to go. And this gentleman walks by with what I would think would have to be the largest butt I have ever seen. Like it's a it's a big dude. He's got a crop of tight cropped blonde hair. He's a brother, blonde hair, and he goes by. He's dressed super, super smart. Like one of the big, like there's only so many things a big guy can wear.
Yeah.
A giant button down, silk shirt. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, and I'm a huge WWF fan at this point. And I'm like, that's an enormously large person. It was Rikishi, and Rikishi's finishing move, the stinkface, to this date, the best finishing move since George the Animal Steel tore open turnbuckles with his teeth and threw the fluff all over. Rikishi's finishing move, do you know what it was? Do you remember that?
I do.
Rikishi would come out in a tashiki, I think that's what it's called. You know, the
Dashiki?
Dashiki, the sumo wrestler type thing.
Okay.
And Rikishi, very large man, incredibly large bottom, huge, massive. So he would beat a guy up, throw him in the corner by the turnbuckle, and the guy would be in the turnbuckle, his arms on ropes, like, don't know where you are. I'm so confused. What's happened? I've been beat so bad. And then Rikishi would slap his butt, and the crowd would go crazy, and he'd wiggle his butt, and then he would back his butt up and smoosh it on the guy's face that he had knocked out.
How
And
did we
it
get
was
here?
the stink face. And it was the best finishing move of all time. And every time Rikishi did it, I was like, that's so awesome. That's so funny. And I saw him. I didn't meet him. I just saw him going into the same hotel I was in, but I had to go to the customer site. And then I saw Big John Studd and a couple other wrestlers. So the first thing that popped in my head is, who's the most famous person ever? I almost met Rikishi once. I'm like, dude, I got to have beers with George R. R. Martin. That should be the first thing that pops up.
Definitely. Jude, Jake the Snake Plumber. Yeah. Did
No.
you?
Yeah, there's a Jake the Snake in
Not
wrestling,
Roberts.
and then that's Jake the Snake Roberts and Jake the Snake Plummer.
But
You're right.
But he's talking about
That's quarterback.
right, and we're related by marriage to him.
And
So-
Jen Sherwood, we close out. Jen Sherwood says she was spanked by Quentin Tarantino on her birthday, and with that can't be topped. So we're going to close out this show, Love of My Life. Here you go.
All right. So, as you know, we mentioned it 1,000 times. Email info@emptyset for any Scott Sigler /emptyset need. That is, I promise you, the best way to go.
We'll be back Wednesday, March 2nd. Wait, that's my fault.
That's
Do we have a
his
date?
fault.
I did the script today and I screwed that part up. We'll figure out what next week is. But
It'll be a surprise.
it'll be a surprise. Next week will be a surprise. We'll probably be eating on camera because I'm a little hungry right now. Thank you, Bradford. Appreciate that. Until then, we want you guys to stay safe.
You ramp. Do that.
We want you to stay smart. We want you to stay science. And what were you talking about today? What city was that? You sent me a text about a city with COVID.
Oh, Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
If you're Hong Kong, you already know. COVID
Citizen
is,
Gold, rewatch it. We'll catch you next time, brother.
Oh,
All good.
Lord's sake. So you guys take care. We'll see you next week. I don't know what day. It might be National Meatball Day.
Oh, yes. We're gonna broadcast live from IKEA. That's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be fantastic.
You guys
And
take care of yourselves and each other.
Let's go switch back to the main. I don't know why I call this main cam. I'm never on this cam the whole
Never on
goddamn
that
time.
camera.
All right, baby, ready to tell everybody to kiss off in the sky?
Yeah.
And we will give you a big old Rikishi stink face. I'm slapping my butt right now. The crowd's going wild, and I'm getting ready to
Hey,
give you
Kevin.
this
Good night,
stink
Kevin.
face. Hey.